On the 300th episode of the Hatter Show tonight. Unfortunately, it's about a loss, but hopefully we can turn it around and get 3 points out. We really need that. T-Boys team, we have the three on the 300th episode of the Hatter Show tonight. And unfortunately, it's about a loss, but hopefully we can turn it around and get 3 points out. We really need that.
Welcome to T-Boys TV. We are back again with another Hat Show. Obviously, as the MC said there, episode 300. Big episode. Shame we're not in the greatest period in terms of the team. But yeah, obviously we'll be talking about the game the other day, the disaster in Devon yet again. And then we'll be getting into the game tomorrow, which I mean is a massive game. You know, I said not too long ago it could be a season-defining game for either side if they do win, as I believe a team will win. And yeah, obviously Huddersfield got a massive win the other day, which gave them a 3-point gap over us, and we couldn't do what we needed to do, which was pattern up away and get a win. So yeah, man, I mean, I'll be honest, obviously we'll get into that game a bit later, but like I've said yesterday with Caden, I'm not confident whatsoever going into that game. So yeah, man, but how are you, Dad? How have you been the last few days?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good.
Good. Big up to everyone in the chat. I know there was a bit of worrying about me. Shout out to Ryan. Jackie said hello. No, it's normal. It is normal. Got to be honest. We was actually trying to sort out that intro. I'm not going to lie. So yeah. Big up to Phil. He says good evening. Good to see you in here, mate. Hope you're well. Bloody hell. And hello to Jackie. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So yeah, we took on Plymouth. Now going into it, we both wasn't confident of a win. You know, large part down to our away form. Obviously, our last away game was in Devon as well. Obviously, that was a 1-0 defeat. We didn't even have a shot on target. But I mean, in terms of the lineup for this game, I mean, Keeley in goal as you expect. Longwick right back. Now, obviously, you did say that, Dad. I actually said I'd have went with Walters, but then I totally get what you're saying in terms of Walters not so great defensively. I mean, I've said it myself. He can be a bit exploited there. I think he's good going forward. And Longwick is more defensive minded, even though he's not a right back, and we need to get right back. And I've got to be honest, I'll be very disappointed if we don't. To be honest, Anderson and Naismith as the centre backs expected. Obviously, there was the rumours Mengi was back on the grass. He's 50-50 on whether he'd be in this game. He wasn't even on the bench, unfortunately. Johnson on the left, one player that definitely deserves to, you know, stay in that place. It was Walsh, Clark, and Palmer in the midfield. It looked like as the game was going on, Clark and Palmer were sort of changing in terms of like sometimes Clark was deeper, sometimes Palmer was. They were changing in terms of that cam role. Obviously, Walsh, you know, deserves to play, even though I think he does need to improve on his performances away. I think at home he's been very good, but away, I mean, you only have to go to the Exeter game. You weren't great, especially in that second half. And then Lawrence on the right, I mean, you know, a lot of us would have not started him for this game, but, you know, obviously he did start, and there was that half, I guess, expectation that he probably would. Kadoa to the left. I mean, what I will say, a lot of people, I mean, I don't know what you guys are like in the chat, but I saw a lot of people going, oh, well, putting him on the left doesn't work. I mean, I can't agree with that. You've seen it work loads of times throughout the season, you know, so I feel that was a bit, you know, harsh to pick out at Wilshere. And I know there was a few people saying about Palmer starting as well. Well, like I've said, no one else has worked alongside Walsh, you know, and Palmer wasn't that bad, in my opinion. We'll get into performances. And then Wells was up front. I mean, slightly better than Yates in terms of form, so expected there. And then as for the bench, we had Bramall, Lamine, Makoso, Morris, Saville, Shea, and Yates. And obviously, like I said in the match reaction on 9 o'clock on Friday evening, there was some more rumours that with Makoso that, you know, it could be a 6-month loan with that Belgium side, with an option, I think, to buy for like 3.5 to 4 million. I mean, I've got to be honest, I've got to take that. We've got to take that, because if that is the case, because the amount of times we lose out on players in terms of like what we brought them for. I mean, you only have to go to McGuinness and Doughty, quite recently. Nowhere near what we brought them from, we sold them for. So I've got to be honest, I would take that. But obviously, nothing really else has come out since then. But I wouldn't be surprised if he continues to be on the bench until he goes, like I said in the match reaction. But the lineup, I mean, there's a few skeptical things. I'd say Lawrence, for me, shouldn't have started this game. But, I mean, looking at it, other than that, I weren't really disappointed, to be honest. Yes, obviously, I put Mengi in, but he wasn't there. So it was just naturally going to be Naismith and Anderson, who I don't think had the worst game in the last game against Lincoln, to be honest. And again, I thought Naismith was actually all right in this game. I thought Anderson was shocking, got to be honest, but I thought Naismith was all right, done a good block in the first half. But yeah, I mean, the lineup, I guess it's only Lawrence, just due to his lack of senior football, Dad.
Yeah, a little bit of that. Like we did call that. Do you know what I mean? I know, like he's got to learn and things like that. But certain games you've got to do, especially dropping other players. Bramwell doesn't, for me, deserve to be dropped. He needs to be straight back into the team tomorrow for me. And kind of shoehorning him in to put him in the team. Palmer, I get it. Like he was hungry, and he brought him straight in for his experience. So we'll see. But yeah, it's pretty much without Mengi, you're going to go with that back four. And obviously Walsh Clark going to start Wells after the game before. But yeah, Kadoa should have been on the right for me, and Bramwell on the left. But other than that, yeah, it's interesting to see Makoso on the bench. We'll see what happens with him. Lamine, I mean, I did put Lamine in, but we're not really sure what's going on. Same with Savile, really. Like, I think he's been harshly dropped. I called it now. I'm putting him back in my team because he does give that balance, and we just didn't have that in midfield. They were too not powerful, but they were winning all the second ball.
They wanted it more.
Like that. Yeah. And we just, our wing play just was non-existent. Kadur was on the left, but he wasn't getting hardly any service. And they just broke through our midfield far too easy. Yeah, we had possession, playing it around at the back and that, which is fine. Obviously, that's what we're going to be looking to do going forward as we try and get out the leagues. I kind of accept that, but sometimes it's a bit, we need more urgency. We're going for promotion. Our away form's terrible, and it even losing 1-0, it's just not good enough. And it has to improve. So yeah, we can get into the game. Obviously they had that chance. Longwick cleared it off the line. I mean, Keeley done well a couple of times coming out in this game to put. He done it with Pepper as well later on, where he missed the chance. But they had some, they could have won by more.
And that was from us.
We could have scored. We should have scored at least 2 goals anyway. But yeah, so that that happened, and then obviously Longwick played that lovely through ball, and this is another reason why I prefer him. Wolves is good as well, but Longwick's more settled. To Wells, he should have got out on target, man. I don't, he's still snatching it, and then he had one a little bit after that, which is even worse. And then obviously he had the chance later on where he did try and dink it over the keeper, but it weren't powerful enough. Do you know what I mean? So. It's just not as bad as the exit performance, but just not good enough, and it's a bogey team as well, and it was just frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we said going into the game, we weren't confident, and like I said, a large part of that was because we struggled against Plymouth in recent times. I mean, I do think this was our best opportunity. I said it at a time to beat them in terms of the recent games when we played them. Yes, people might say the home game last year at Kenilworth Road, but I think it was inevitable both of us were going to go down. They were shit away, and we were just so inconsistent, and this is the problem, right? How many times have we said this throughout the season? You get these chances, you've got to take them. I don't care about possession. I don't care if we have more possession. It's what we do with it. Just because we're passing it around the back doesn't mean we're sick with possession. You know, we have to do something with it. And I've got to be honest. I mean, Anderson, I think he's been all right, pretty decent at times this season, especially at the start of the season. But this game, what was he doing? What was he doing? I mean, their chances, you know, they didn't have to open us up for any of their chances they had in that game, and they could have won 3 or 4-0. You know, it's from our own, you know, mistake. Him and Walsh messing around, you know, and then Pebble, I don't know how he didn't score, you know, if I'm going to be totally honest. And even the goal, I mean, the amount of corners they had at that period, especially on that side, it was inevitable they were going to score at some point for me, you know, and they did. And I thought Keeley done a good initial save. I thought he had a much better performance than he did against Plymouth last time round, because obviously that was shocking, you know. But I felt sorry for him in this game. Him, Johnson, Palmer was all right. You know, the other players, I mean, they were poor. But like, I'm not going to, you know, overly criticise Kadoa and Clark because they can afford to have a bad game. You know, because they've like been our best players throughout the season in terms of, you know, when we score and have chances and things like that. But yeah, I mean, the other players for me just not great. I mean, you know, some of them were not like they weren't bad, but then they would do crap stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? It was one of them sort of things. And yeah, I've seen a lot of people critical of Palmer's performance. I thought, other than that foul he did, I thought he was really good. Think about it. Our first big chance, take away the Wells ones because they were useless. Our first big chance in terms of like a keeper having to make the save was from his shot, you know, where he's went on the attack, you know, done really well. And other keepers don't save that, you know, and that's a spectacular goal if that goes in. So, you know, and I also think he was just getting used to how the team wants to play. And to me, like I said, it looked like him and Clark were interchanging in the game, you know, because, you know, I'd rather see, if I had to pick out of him and Clark, who would I rather see next to Walsh in that more deeper role? I'm saying Palmer all day long, because every time we play Clark there, it doesn't work. It simply doesn't work. You know, for me, he tries, Clark, he tries, but you're just limiting him, you know, from doing what he's good at in terms of attacking and creating chances. For example, like he did in the cameo when he come on against Leyton Orient, the away game. I know we didn't win, but like he was the reason we went on to get something from the game because he just boosted the team in that role. You know, when he's playing deeper, it doesn't work for him. It doesn't work for him at all. So yeah, that's what I will say. And yeah, it was obviously Galloway. I knew him or Pebble were going to score in this game. So inevitable. And I mean, Galloway's actually got a few goals for Plymouth this year, you know, so I will give him the credit there. But yeah, Pebble should have scored as well. I mean, one positive, I guess you can say coming out of this game, I felt we dealt with Talage pretty well. You know, I've got to be honest. I mean, other than that shot he had, which I think was like straight at Keeley, maybe. And then, you know, they had a big chance at the end. Good save from Keeley. I mean, other than that, we probably dealt with him pretty well.
Well, apparently he's done his hamstring.
Yeah. Well, that's a bit annoying because I know we've both got him in the EFL fantasy team.
He's a big player for them, so you know they could.
Yeah, I mean for them, it's a season where you know they'll survive, but they'll be mid-table. I don't think they'll be doing anything else, to be honest. And again, that's what's frustrating because their recent results before that they got a bit of a gap, so like they could probably afford to lose, whereas we can't we have to start improving away. Because we just ain't going to go up. Now Huddersfield, they got a massive win over Bradford in the derby, you know, and they look really good in terms of the fight. You know, they look really good, and that's what we want to see from us, which we have at home. You know, I will give the, you know, everyone credit in terms of the home games, but away, I mean, you know, it's shocking yet again. Like you say, it's nowhere near as bad as the Exeter game because we actually had some shots, but yeah, I mean, it's the chances, isn't it? You got to be taking them, and then even the chances they had, we were gifting them. So yeah, it's frustrating. It is frustrating, but we did. What I will say is we did make a change. I did want to see as the first change in the second half. Obviously, Shaden Morris coming on. I did want to see that. I mean, he was all right. I thought he played some good crosses into the box. You know, it's just a shame no one's there, and that's what I can't get behind. I mean, sometimes, like obviously Wells is being told to drop deeper. But then when you're playing the sole one up front, and then you're getting Jordan Clark to be the one who's not tall at all, to be higher up than him, I can't agree with that. For me, you need a winger, you know, someone who's going to try and at least get him behind, you know, the defence, whether it's Kadoa, Morris, whoever's on the pitch, even Bramall, to be honest, you know. And yeah, Bramall should have started this game. A lot of people going into the game were frustrated that he wasn't starting. Obviously, we like we say, we both called for him to start. And I thought he was really good when he come on, to be fair to him. There was a moment he like done really well to get past the player. Got a few good crosses in the box, but just no one's there. And I mean, the corners, it was back to the old corners that don't work in recent weeks. You know, in terms of everyone being in one position. No, space out, man. Space out. It's too much like Arsenal, man, and it's just not going to work in this league. I'm sorry, it's not. So yeah, that was frustrating as well. But yeah, I mean, for me, a couple of the subs were good, and Johnson and Keeley, and Palmer was all right. Other than that, I mean, other than Yates, I'm not fucking, yeah, he's pointless to talk about now. Coming on, getting a yellow card. I mean, it's just, yeah, he's just shocking as well. And obviously, I was frustrated, and I said after the game, and I still stand by it. We need to go out and get a striker on loan, but will we? Probably not, because we're putting all the eggs in the basket on Elijah and El Hamadi, which I just think is a massive risk. To be quite honest with you, I mean, Elijah's been out for ages. You know, yes, I expect him to be better than the two right now, but that's not hard, is it? Really? And then obviously, you know, El Hamadi. I mean, yes, he had that chance against Stockport where it was good clearance off the line, but ultimately, I just think it's too much of a risk, to be honest, on waiting on them, and that's why I say someone on loan, because we've got so many. I get that you don't really want to get them for the end of the season as well, but yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating, but yeah, I mean, like I said, Plymouth, they showed more fight, and overall they deserved it. You know, they did deserve it. And the thing is, they didn't, for me, they didn't even play amazing in terms of when they did have their chances. It's just we gifted them. But in terms of the physicality and getting stuck in, they deserved it in that aspect. So, yeah, that's what I say on that, really. But yeah, we'll go through some comments. Big up to Harry in the chat. He says, "Evening, lads. Hope you're both good as always." Yep, we're all right, mate. Hope you're well. A nice intro, definitely outside from what other people do. Never seen that one before. Very nice indeed. Thank you very much, mate. I mean, we could have, mate. We really, really could have, to be honest. Yeah, again, I don't blame you, mate, to be honest. Uh, I've, are you on about Lawrence, maybe, here, mate? Bet frustrated you even more the fact you didn't win this game when you watched Burton play them. Yeah, we lost 3-0, but we had 12 players out there for this. Yeah, it was similar, mate. It was similar in terms of like they didn't have to open us up. We just gifted them the chances. And, you know, Wells, I mean, it's so annoying, right? Because the chances he had, all right, the last one, yes, it was a good save, but then it will annoy people because the other chances, which were better chances for him to score, he hasn't. So that's why people get frustrated. And that's why I was frustrated at the time, because he could have had a hat trick in this game. Do you know what I mean? And it's so annoying because the first two chances he has, the first two are so similar to each other. And
Yeah.
the first one, for me, like obviously, I know you said in the watch show he's got a score, Dad, which, you know, he's definitely got to put it on target for me. But then the second chance, you know, the fact he's just rushed at it, what are you doing, mate? I mean, it's just shocking. Absolutely shocking. Um, oh, yeah, honestly, mate. Honestly, he got one over us again. Like, it's just so frustrating. Yates was.
He got him up, you know, he got him up for the game, and, you know, this is one thing we've got to learn, but, well, Wilshire's got to learn, but it is what it is. Like, you know.
Yeah, you might as well play with 10 men. Yeah, oh, exactly. I agree. So, yeah, that's that. But we'll just get into the player ratings for this game. So, yeah, obviously, Keeley in goal. Like I say, I felt sorry for him, to be honest. If we were to actually get something out of the game, I'd probably give him man of the match, to be quite honest with you. You know, he made some really, really vital saves. Even the goal, I mean, it was a good save. It was just shocking defensively. I mean, I think Wells was the closest player to Galloway. What is that all about? You know, that's shocking and all. So, yeah, I mean, Keeley, I felt sorry for him, to be honest. So I'll actually give him a 7. It was a much improved performance to the last time.
He's looking more steady, but, you know, we need to keep that up, because before you could see it was affecting his confidence when we were conceding more goals, another set piece goal. But, you know, he's doing his bit now. Like, he's, you know, in set for the season. Do you know what I mean? Like, when we need to bear that in mind and defend properly. Ironically, like, you know, flash scores give all of our defenders quite high ratings, like, compared to everyone else. I can kind of see a little bit of that, but yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, fair enough. Exactly. Like I love Elijah, yeah, but he missed the biggest load of chances last year. Big chances in the championship. That's what I mean. Like, yes, I expect him to be better, but he's not going to be drastically better. You know, he's not going to be touching like the 10 to 15 goals. Do you know what I mean? Like, he'll probably get about 5, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? It's just so, like, it's just annoying. It's like, you know, you even look at like in the past, right, where we've waited for players to come back in the last 2 years, they haven't come back, and ultimately that's just what cost us. Like, you look at how many windows, right, we've been like, oh no, we're waiting for this player to come back and things like that. No, get someone now. I mean, it's only right. Asgard, right, when he went, right, we all said we need a creative midfield. Some people did, majority of people did, right. It took us up to now to get someone in, which is Palmer, you know, who is predominantly a cam. You look at the Doughty thing, inevitable he was going to go, yeah, okay, Bramall's done well throughout his time, you know, I'd say overall, but he, you know, we're playing him higher now. You know, it's just like stuff like that. It's like, why? What are we doing? Seriously, what are we doing? And people go, oh, it's hard to get people in January. Now, I mean, you only have to look at Huddersfield. That player who scored a free kick against us, they replace him like straight away. Yeah, it's a player on loan, but they still done it. Do you know what I mean? It's not. I do think there's a bit of an over exaggeration when people say, "Oh, it's hard to get players in January." It's not. Just put your money in. Put the money in, or put what they want. I'm not saying we have to spend in like 10 million, but you know, we just spend something. You know, it's so annoying because we're just brushing away from the football side of things to the stadium. And don't get me wrong, the stadium's going to be great when it comes. It is. Yeah, it's going to be much more beneficial and easier to get to, and things like that. It's going to be better. You know, it's going to be all that, but forgetting about the football side of things, there's only so much one person can do. Do you know what I mean? And that's just, yeah, it's frustrating. Keeley 7.5. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I've got to agree. 7. 7 as well. Do you know what I mean? Fuck, it will show more passion than half of them. It's just shocking. Absolutely shocking. But yeah, moving on to Longwick. I mean, he got best player in terms of the flash score ratings. I don't really know how. I mean, yes, the pass he done to Wells was good. But I just think, you know, like I've said, I want to see him where he actually plays, which is a centre back. I know he can play on the left. You know, but overall, I just think, you know, we need to be filling that position because there's only so much he can do there because it's not natural to him. And you saw it against Lincoln, like I say, the second goal. So, yeah, for me, I'm going to give him I mean, yeah, I'm just going to go over 7, to be honest.
Yeah, I haven't got a man in a match. Do you know what I mean? Because,
No.
yes, Flash Scores give him an 8. You know what I mean? And yeah, he cleared it off the line. And they look into, you know, what he's done. If you look at the stats and that, but it's, you know, it's not really based on just stats, is it? Do you know what I mean? Like Anderson, for instance, got 7.5. He jittery off the. Do you know what I mean? What? Because he played 15 passes at the back. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So you know, they're basic sort of stuff. But yeah, not really no one for the man. I'll just give him a 7.
Yeah, and obviously he did do that good clearance. Obviously we had a few issues, so we didn't see it at the time. But we saw it at half time, and you know, I will give him credit. Like, he is trying, he has had good games in right back. But you know, when I criticise that position, I don't really want to go at him because it's not natural to him. But it's just like how if Real Walters, our only right back at the club, cannot play over someone who's naturally a centre back, how does that not tell you need a right back? I just don't understand what is going on. In terms of that. And you've seen even under Bloomfield, you know, we're trying to shoehorn Makoso there. It's so frustrating with things like that. He did save us a few times. Yeah, 7, obviously, the clearance off the line, let's say. Oh, yeah, honestly, mate, I've said about Webster for a very long time. Obviously, he's injured, so he won't be going anywhere. But yeah, I mean, Malife, from what I saw, was decent against Lincoln. And then obviously Shade. Like, that's the thing, right? We used to get players from like lower leagues. Right, obviously you guys have done that with strikers. We used to do that, you know, but it's just annoying because like it's the new way we do everything, data and all that. Like looking at Yates and that. Yes, I was happy when we got him, but ultimately he's just not done enough. And it's like you look at it now and you just think, just try and get someone like on loan or something. There's got to be some strikers on loan, you know, even them ones that are like, you know, a bit younger, hungry to show. I mean, there's a lot of them, you know, in the EFL that are like pretty experienced for their level. You know, there's someone there. There's definitely someone there. Yeah, yeah. Is he the one that kept heading it away against Stevenage? I thought he was really good if it is. So yeah. Moving on to the next player, we'll go over to Anderson. I mean, I thought he was poor, I've got to be honest. And large parts of the season, like I said, he's been good. But this game, I've got to be honest, I thought he was really poor. Obviously, him and Walsh having the mess up for the pebble chance. And yeah, he was just like, there were so many times, wasn't there, Dad? We were watching the game and he's like, not just him, but like we're sort of on the ball at the back and large parts of it, he's involved. And it's just like they're inviting pressure. Do you know what I mean? By doing that. And again, they're being told to do it. But I think when players like that, it's just you always worry, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, for me, he wasn't great in this game. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how he got a high rating on Flash, but I'm giving him a 5.
I'd just give him a 6. Like, that moment in the first half where he was holding on, he just sort of dribbled it out of defence. He'd done well to do that, but he shouldn't be doing that. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was risky. And then, yeah, it's just the passing at the back. Like, he's not really standing out. None of our centre backs. Longwick has played in that. We could see Longwick go back in there and then put Waters on the right. I don't know, but you're not really seeing. It just wasn't. When normally he's like heading the ball away and things like that, and it just there wasn't much of that for me. But he has been decent, really overall. So yeah, he's slow. So is Naismith. But it's not. It's slow. The goal didn't come because anyone was slow, and in fact, a lot of our goals are not conceded because people are slow. It's mostly just like poor marking and
Yeah, I was about to say
things like that. So I don't really buy that too much. Do you know what I mean? We're not playing against Premier League players with hella pace, but I'll just give him a 6. Fully expect him to start tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had any team news, so we don't know what's the situation with Mengi, and Makosa is just going to be on the bench, if not otherwise. So, yeah, I agree. He probably will again. Oh, mate, honestly, if anyone's going and flipping join in with that at this rate, because it's just shocking. Like, you got to, and again, I've said it for so long now, about the possession. It does not matter. You have to take your chances. That's ultimately what matters. And when we were successful, predominantly, in terms of like when we were pushing on to go promotion to the Prem, we had less possession. I mean, I remember when we used to do shows, Dad, and we had like more possession, we'd be like, wow. Do you know what I mean? Because it was just so rare to us, like whether we won a game or not. But it's just, it's frustrating.
Especially when you're losing or you're not performing. You need to up it. If you're 2-0 up or 2-1 up and you've got 5 minutes to go, then do it. Because they're obviously been, doing it for a reason, ultimately. The long-term goal of playing, that kind of Premier League football, or passing the ball on the floor, and that's fine, but not in this league. There's moments where talks about moments, or there's wasting. You've probably wasted 10 minutes passing it around the back. You know what I mean? So yeah,
exactly. Anderson 5, same as me. Paul's gone with the same as you for Anderson. I said I do think that, I think there's areas we just didn't feel, mate. To be honest, like the only position in terms of our squad that I've got confidence that it is really good is our wingers in terms of the right hand side. Yeah. Like Morris, obviously Jones, Kadoa. The left side, I would have said if we kept Ali. I know we didn't have the best of seasons, but still, like just putting in Lawrence and him starting every game so far. I don't think he's been terrible, but you can just see he needs to like adapt, and you needed that experience. And Ali, I've got to be honest. I mean, I didn't watch the game yesterday, but the other games I have seen, I mean, he's got 2 out of 2 assists. In the first 2 games. One of them was at Watford away as well, which was nice to see. So yeah, it's just frustrating, man. It is frustrating. Anderson 4.5. Yeah, can't blame you. Big up to David in the chat. He says, good evening all. Hope you're both well and had a good day. Hopefully some improvement for tomorrow. If not, I might need some bleach from my eyes. Oh, Matt, don't blame you, to be honest. But yeah, good to have you in here, mate. Hope you're well. Yeah, moving on to Naismith. I mean, I've got to be honest. I don't actually think Naismith had a bad game. I think the last 2 games he's been all right. Obviously, like I said at the time, the Lincoln first half, he started pretty slow. But after that, he was really good. And there was obviously a good block he done in the game, this game. So, yeah, I thought he was all right, to be honest. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, he done some good clearances and things like that. You know, obviously, when we first signed him the first time, he is a utility player. I think he was Portsmouth's top scorer at one point, so he's playing in a cam role, and then we sort of played him in different positions, and then you know, in the left of a back three, and that's ultimately what he's doing now. But we know that if Mengi's fit, he's not starting. I can't, especially now Johnson's made such an impact and still looking good. And obviously when we scored in the previous game, he was geeing up the crowd and stuff like that. So I think it'd be quite unfair for him to be dropped. But yeah, it was okay. But obviously, we need better. We're missing like a Lockyer or Sonny Bradley type player. And we don't know what's going on with Mengi. So Hakeem, we're missing him as well because he could fill in at centre back, right back as well, possibly. So yeah, it's just sort of we need to tweak some things. I think for the next game, go back to kind of basics a little bit. Stop shoehorning Lawrence into the team, put him on the bench. Do you know what I mean? Or as Pep said, you've got to play him every game. Fuck off. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'll just give him a 7. Johnson, I'll give him 7 as well. Obviously, he got taken off. When was it? Late on. Do you know what I mean? Because we went 2 up front, which was pointless because it just didn't do it. It just didn't work. But yeah, I'll give Johnson a 7 as well.
Yeah, I'll go slightly higher for Johnson. Like I said, I thought he was one of our better players alongside Keeley in terms of starting 11. So I'll give him a 7.5, to be honest. I thought he was good defensively again. Can't really blame him for the goal, to be honest. So, yeah, I think he's done all right defensively. I've been a bit, I guess, sceptical of him defensively in terms of, I think he's really good going forward. And you're seeing now in a lot of games he is helping, attacks. But, yeah, it's just defensively. But I've got to be honest, last 2 games, he's been really good defensively on top of doing his other stuff. So, fair play to him. Yeah, I've just seen that. I've actually just seen that. Burton have signed Andy Cannon from Wrexham. So, yeah, I'll just see that literally just now, mate. Naismith 5. Yep, fair enough. There was other ratings for Naismith, 7.5. Naismith 8. Yeah, fair enough. I thought he was all right, man. I did think he was all right, to be fair. Johnson 7.5. Yeah, I'll say I agree with that. I mean, hopefully. I mean, you could say you helped us against Huddersfield, to be honest, but then, we ain't helped ourselves. That's the problem. They obviously got Bolton away tomorrow. So, yeah, I mean, moving on to the next player. We'll go over to Walsh. I thought he was better than his last away performance. But, yeah, obviously he had that mess up, didn't he, with Anderson at that period. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll give him a 6.5.
I'll just give him a 6, pretty non-existent. Same with Clark for me, 6. Non-existent really. Do you know what I mean? Like they they're the players you want. But like we've said, can have an off game. But maybe if he's playing in that deeper role, then that's it. That's the reason. Simple as that. Asked to do more defensive work, doesn't work. Stop doing it. Doesn't work under any manager with him. So stop doing that. So unfortunately, I have to give him a 6.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where, I know people have been criticising him, but this is where Saville in his own role could be good. In like a 4-1, like we've seen away at Stockport. Put him there and we got a win. We got a win. We got a very good win. Yes, all right. They had pressure on us at the start, but ultimately we dealt with that and we took our chances, which we haven't done in a lot of away games. And by the way, that is the last time we've won away.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, we said about it after that. That feels like flipping ages ago, and it was really. But do you know what I mean? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Oh yeah, we've done that a few times. So yeah, I know that feeling, mate. Walsh 6. Walsh 6 again. So yeah, moving on we'll go over to Clark. Like I say, it looked like to me him and Palmer were interchanging during the game. But yeah, Clark, I've got to be honest, bit of an anonymous game. But like I said, he can afford to have that. him and Kadoa, they can afford to have that because how good they've been for us in terms of attacking. And even then, I mean, I did see a few people criticising that chance where they dealt with it, that slide tackle block. I think Morris played it across to Clark. I actually thought that was good defending, to be honest.
The last kick of the game.
What's that?
Last kick of the game when he nearly scored.
Nah. This was like, it was some point in the second half. It was like early on when Morris come on.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, and I think
that bit. I felt that was good defending, but yeah, like I say, not a great game for it. I'll just give him a 6.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, there you go. Everyone else says 6 as well. Moving on to Palmer, I thought it was a decent debut. It wasn't like really good, but it wasn't really bad for me. I mean, the only thing that let him down for me was the foul he did. But other than that, I mean, our first big chance was from him in terms of like a shot on target, I think, at that time, that save. And there was a few good moments. I mean, when we were going forward a lot of times, it was because of him for me. So, yeah, I thought he was all right. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. I don't understand. There was a lot of criticism for him, but I don't know why. Because it was maybe it's he was trying to clear it in the box and he sort of fell over, but he still cleared it. He still managed to clear it, and he was working hard. Do you know what I mean? And that run, he doesn't really score as everyone's making out. Yeah, but it run from his own half, straight at them. They backed away, and that was a great shot. Their keeper was decent in this game. So yeah. But again, obviously we started him because we signed him. We're sort of shoehorning him a little bit, dropping other players. We should be doing that. Should be like put him on the bench, or put him in a different position. Instead of Lawrence. I've seen him play in that position plenty of times for other teams.
You make for a lot.
I want to see. Yeah, for me. But I thought, he was all right. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there was good moments. So other than that foul, I thought he was decent. Jackie's already jumped the gun. Lawrence 5. He shouldn't have started. Palmer 7. Kadoa 7. Yeah, he's just not right now in this current period in time. He's not a player that's suited to away games for me. And I said that going into it. Bigger crowd is bigger crowd in terms of the home crowd is it's not Luton fans this time, it's away fans. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I just think like I said, I don't think he's been terrible, but I just think there's so many, like all the games so far, and I've said it every single time, the game catches up to him as the game goes on. You can tell, he needs to adapt and still learn. But you can't, like in this period where we need wins, you just put him on the bench. It's so frustrating. But yeah, I will agree 5 on Lawrence. And yeah, obviously Palmer 7. Kadoa, obviously you can give yours quickly, Dada, for Lawrence.
5, yeah, like same thing. He's obviously got Premier League, but you can see it, where he jinks past, and tries to get a shot off and that. He's got that touch and that confidence. But yeah, it does dwindle, and ultimately, he'll just end up getting bullied off the ball or not really in the game because he hasn't got that nous. And yeah, fine, like to bring off the bench and maybe bring some magic or whatever. But yeah, again, starting the game, shoehorning him into the team and dropping, Bramall, for instance, and things like that. And I don't agree with that. And we called it anyway, before. So definitely, I don't want to see him start tomorrow. So, but yeah, I'll give him a 5. Kadoa, just I just give him a 6. But he didn't get any service. Obviously, we're expecting him to, get on the ball and do what he normally does. But if he's not getting on the ball and he's getting bypassed, etc., and this is probably the only time it didn't work on the left. We have seen him play on the left plenty of times, and he has done all right. But again, it's kind of because you shoehorned Lawrence into that. You should have just put Lawrence on the left, or if you're not faithful, put him on the left. Don't start him then. So hopefully that lesson is learned. But yeah, I'm sure he'll be back in his right position tomorrow and firing all cylinders. But I'll just give him a 6.
Yeah, I agree. 6. Similar to Clark, not a great game, but they can afford it. They can afford to do it. They've been our better players, like I say. Lawrence 4.5 says Paul. Yeah, can't blame you, mate. 6.5 for Kadoa. Wells 6.5 and Wells 4.5. You know what? I'm going to go Wells 4.5 as well for me. I mean, could have had a hat trick, like I say. All right, the last chance, yeah, okay, decent save. Even though I thought their keeper was a bit of a shit house, he did make good saves. But the other two chances, I mean, you only have to go back to them to why people are then frustrated that he hasn't scored that other chance.
Yeah, for his experience and things like that's just not. It's sort of snatching the chances a little bit still, and this is part of the the psychological thing. I remember Naismith saying, was it earlier on in the season? Was it very early on that they spoke to a psychologist, Nate? Was it? Do you remember? And
I actually don't remember
they
myself.
were really helpful and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm sure it was this season, right near the beginning. But where's that guy or woman now? Because she needs to be working with Wells because he doesn't need to be snatching at chances. He can take that extra touch. Do you know what I mean? If he needs to, or he's just swinging at it like he's a 20-year-old amateur or graduate or whatever. But unfortunately, and again lacking in height and stop. When we're playing them high corners and putting everyone at the same place, and then at least have the big man at the back. You remember when we used to have Morris or Elijah, and we'd fling it over to them, and then they'd head it back in to space, and we'd normally score from that. Like we can't do that because we ain't got the height. And and part of it's not their fault, but you can't. They're both short, and they're not one man strikers. Do you know what I mean? And the Plymouth put two up front. I think that helped them massively. Just going back to basics, 4-4-2. It's like we're scared. No, don't do that in football anymore. We'll fucking do it because sometimes you need to. But yeah, I'll just give him a 5.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think people can understand, the one up front with them just doesn't work, when we're trying to lump it up to him. But I think the frustrating thing, and what the frustrating thing is for me, is when they get the chances. I mean, how many times have I said it throughout the season? Wells, yeah, it was a great goal against Thingy, but you've got to follow up on that. Otherwise, the same criticisms are going to happen. And honestly, could have had a hat trick. Could have had a hat trick in this game. And the thing is, the first two chances are so similar. He should have learnt from the first one that, like you said, Dad, he doesn't have to rush it. So just take it on. Take that touch, take it on. It was just, it was shocking. Absolutely shocking. But yeah, moving on to the subs. Obviously, we'll start with Morris. I thought he was okay. He played some good crosses into the box. Shame no one was there. Few touches, not so great, but he was better than a lot of the players on that pitch. So I'll give him a 6.5.
Yeah, I agree. He was like hugging the touchline and obviously done better than Lawrence did, but you kind of know what you're going to get from him. But again, so there was times where we weren't even passing it out to him again, which we've seen before. Or by the time we got it to him, there were 3 players marking him and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a bit predictable at times. But yeah, I'll give him 6.5.
Yeah, Jackie's gone the same. I'll go through some other comments. He hates heroes, says Jackie. Yeah, I agree with this, Terry, mate. I agree with this. Starting ahead of Bramall was just ridiculous. And yeah, we said it, mate. We'd start Bramall. I mean, majority of Luton fans did anyway. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I didn't really count, like, before we got him, obviously people saying, yeah, he's played a few bits senior football, the Virtue Trophy. But I just think ultimately the games are catching up with him. And Bramall's been one of our best players this season. And let's be honest, a lot of us skeptical when we signed him just because of what, Rotherham and Portsmouth fans said. Arguably been one of our best players, throughout the season. So, yeah, I totally agree, mate. It was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And it proved to be ridiculous in the end. It's 10. Sorry, minus 10. Says Ben. Oh, dear. Yates, 1.5 point. Yeah, obviously, we'll go to Bramall first. But yeah, I thought, he was decent, man. He was decent when he come on, and I agree. And he should be starting tomorrow. But then there is that part of me that just wouldn't be surprised if he puts Lawrence in again, which would just be silly for me. But I really wouldn't be surprised. I mean, how many times have we seen the same stuff in a lineup that just doesn't work? So yeah, for me, I'm going to give Bramall I'll give him a 6.5, same as Morris.
Yeah, he done some good touches and, always willing to make that run. And so, even when you think he's not going to be able to make it, he does. But again, we're getting the crosses in. There's no one really there. you know, and it's effect because he was banging form. Do you know what I mean? So he needs to be starting again. And like, I go back to you know, the young lad. Yeah, he's just why we signed him at this point in the season, like where he, you know, he hasn't had much experience of men's football, and like for me, like obviously we couldn't, but he's the sort of player who should be start at the beginning of the season, so he can ease his. So by the time we've played like the games we have, he should be not fully up to speed, but much better and much more used to it and things like that. Do you know what I mean? And we just basically use it. It's like we've got him, and we just thought, you know, we're benefiting Man City. We're not benefiting us. It's fucking pointless. So yeah, he needs to be going to the bench. No doubt he's got talent. You can see that. But you know, when we're going for promotion, which apparently we are, things like that, yeah, it's not sitting right. So yeah, and then I'll give Yates a 4 because I think all he done was foul someone.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, as for me, I'm giving Yates a 1, and that's just stepping on the fucking pitch. I'm sick of him now. I'm getting so sick of him, and it's so frustrating because, like I said, when we signed him, I was buzzing. You know, I was absolutely buzzing, but he's just not doing nothing. Not doing nothing. And I mean, even the goals he scored, they've been crap. Penalty, he was lucky to score that. The goal against Huddersfield last time, he just, for me, nicked it off Lamine. Lamine deserved it. Lamine was instrumental in that second half. You know, he's just been so poor, man. So poor. So yeah, that's what I will say. Bramall 6.5. Please note when I said wouldn't be surprised if we start lower. I just wouldn't. I just really wouldn't at this stage. I don't think we should, obviously, but I just wouldn't be surprised. Morris 6. Yeah, fair enough, mate. So yeah, they are the player ratings for the game. Obviously, no man in the match. Maybe if we got something, like say, I'd have probably give it to Keeley. To be honest, I thought the saves he made are really good. First goal, I'm not going to blame him. You know, we should be clearing it after that. So yeah, another loss, which is frustrating. Which we go into that Huddersfield game now with, let's be honest, not a lot of confidence. Against Huddersfield, like I say, obviously they got a big win. Same kickoff time as us, obviously 12:30 the other day against Bradford. Got revenge on Bradford as well, because earlier on in the season, Bradford beat them. And, obviously we had Caden on a channel yesterday. He was saying, despite their really good home record, they've not actually played good in a lot of games, bar probably the other day. And he said that they haven't been great in that sense. Well, if they haven't been great at home, and I said it to him at the time, and they're unbeaten since the 16th of October at home, I fucking wish that was us, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really confident for this game at all. I know I wasn't confident last time against Huddersfield, but I think that's that different circumstances because, we were at home. Whereas, like I said, how good they are at home, how poor we are away right now, I just don't see how there's going to be a major change. And I expect certain things to be in a lineup that we just don't agree with again, to be honest. So, for me personally, I can't really be confident. And obviously, they've got Liam Manning in now, who I think's good experience for them. And they were showing that fight the other day, which they haven't really shown a lot, throughout the season. And yeah, I'm just not confident in this game at all, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, when I think of evening kickoffs against Huddersfield, I don't think of good games in recent times. I think the last 2 times, one was the Friday night, we lost 2-0. I was at that game. And then obviously the playoff game, the semi-final second leg. So, and we haven't even scored a goal in them 2 games. So yeah, for me, I'm not confident. Obviously, last time I went there overall, it was a I think it was a 3:00 kickoff. It was a midday kickoff or whatever, and we did beat them. But in terms of the night games against them, I mean, with their result the other day, not confident whatsoever. I mean, how are you feeling going into this one, Dad?
Yeah, similar. For me, it has to be, like proper changes and just grind out a result. And we just never know what we get. We've got a patchy record against them. Overall, I think we've got, better head to head and things, but you just never know what we're going to get sometimes when we play them. and obviously they'll be bouncing after that. But it's not guaranteed that they can just come into this game. We have, if we perform, then we can beat them, of course. But it just seems like a pattern that we've sort of sorted the home form out, which was poor. And then the away form, yeah, mate, it needs to happen anyway. But this really needs. There's too much pressure, I think, for this game for us. Where we've got a game in hand over them, so a win would be massive. Obviously, we go level on points with them, and have a game in hand. But if we lose to them, they'll be 6 points above us. And yeah, so there's a lot of pressure on us, and I just can't really see it. Because even with Bramwell, I think in the previous game we played him as in midfield to cater for Lawrence or whoever it was out on that. So I stopped, just put him in his proper position. So it all depends how we line up, I think, and need to get off to a good start. So yeah, I'm not overly confident at all. No. Blackpool, obviously, but then if another defeat could run into that game, so we really need to put in a performance. I don't know if we put in and we are unlucky, or they get a dodgy penalty or something like that. Obviously, we won't be chuffed about it, but the performance, it's chalk and cheese at the moment from home and away, and it's really got to improve. Talk about the last time we went to Devon, we didn't. Yeah, it was slightly better, but it's still ultimately not good enough. And it massively needs to be sorted out, because we're not going, even if we get into the playoffs, we're not going to away when we play teams away. If we do get in there, particularly we could play them again in the playoffs. Do you know what I mean? I just don't fancy our chances. So yeah, they have to prove us different.
Yeah, and I said that yesterday, about us playoffs. In terms of if we did get that, I don't know if I could be bothered for it. If we continue to be poor away from home, that is because, you look at it and you just won't be confident. I'd rather just try and get next season ready straight away in terms of getting players in, getting players out, etc. Because it's just one of them where I can't be confident. I cannot be confident, really. So yeah, I agree. Phil does say stick Clark up front, Kadoa behind him. He won't do that, no. No, he definitely won't. But what I will say to that, to counter that, I'd actually do it the other way round. I'd have Kadoa up front because he is actually a striker. I know he's done very well on the wing, so I'm not really critical of that. But play him up there and then have Clark behind him as like a cam sort of thing, setting him up. That could be good. But yeah, that ain't gonna happen. Unfortunately, it's going to be the same formation and probably Lawrence in. I just really wouldn't be surprised. Bramall left wing, Morris right wing. Jackie says, I'm not confident, but I'm going to put us down for another win. I'm losing points anyway, so it doesn't matter. 2-1. Well, Jackie, you're still top. You are still top. Obviously, that's a shout, actually. I need to get into the points for the game. So, Lewis, who obviously joined a bit later on, he did actually get the game spot on, to be fair to him, Plymouth game. He did say 1-0. ChatGPT got a point. Very annoying. And it was another point gain from Ryan. So the points are, I'm on 15. You're on 9, Dad. Jackie, you're on 18 at the top still. Rich is on 12. Paul, you're on 16. Stephen's on 14. Phil's on 8. Darth Vader's on 15. Ben's on 13. Terry's on 9. Dave's on 9. Blitz is on 9. ChatGPT's on 9, Dad. Level with you. You can't be letting that happen. You can't be letting that happen. Jamie's on 17. Harry's on 2. Lewis is on 7. Obviously, with that, he obviously gained 3 points, which is good for him. And then Ryan's on 3. So, yeah, you are still top, Jackie. You are still top. So the people that did claim the points, I've got to be honest, are nowhere near you. So, yeah, you are still top. Just buzzing about that. But yeah, in terms of the lineups going into this game, what would we go with? So obviously I'll start off in mine. I've tried to make it realistic again, like I have in recent weeks, in terms of what I believe we're actually going to go for. And this is what I think we're going to go for, guys. So obviously this formation again, Keeley in goal, 4-2-3-1. I do think we'll probably go with it again, more likely to. So yeah, obviously Keeley in goal. I've gone with the same back four as the other day. A large part of that, I don't know what's happening with Mengi. Like I said, I don't think Naismith was bad the other day. Johnson obviously deserves to play. And I don't really like to see Longwick in right back. But there is also that other part of me that feels, it is against Huddersfield, his former club, who he was only at last season. So he could have a good game. He did last time, but then again, that was in centre back. Um, Kept Anderson in. I know he hasn't. Well, I know he wasn't great last game, but I do expect him to be better. I have actually put Lamine and Walsh together this time, and the reason I have gone with that is because Lamine was very good against Huddersfield last time out, and I would put Palmer to the bench and bring him on in this game. To be honest, he could even be a light change for like Clark for me, maybe if Clark's not having the best of games. Obviously kept Walsh there. He needs a better game. Obviously he was better than the Exeter game, like we say, but he wasn't drastically like better away. Still, he needs to improve on that. Obviously Bramall, like we've discussed, Kadara on the right, his more natural position in terms of out wide. And then obviously Clark, like I say, and then Wells up front because he's slightly better than Yates. To be honest, that's the only reason why. So, yeah, I mean that's what I've gone with. Again, some of that I don't really want to go with, especially Wells up front, given what he done last week. But it's one of them at the same, last game. But it's one of them at the same time where I just expect it, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, as for your lineup, Dad, this is your lineup. Let me just get it up on the screen. Jackie says I like that lineup. But yeah, as for your lineup, just waiting for it to actually share. All right, there you go, Dad.
Well, I've gone back to the 4-1-4-1, which last time we won a game away.
Stockport, yeah.
Yeah, so Keeley, same back four as you. Longwick. I could see it depends if Mengi's back as well, and or you could put Longwick back in the centre and then put Naismith on the bench, put Walters there. We'll see what happens. I'm bringing Saville back in. I do think we've missed him. A lot of people give him a lot of criticism, but like away, he was playing a lot of the away games before. Played in the last one when we won. We weren't as terrible. I think if the lads in front of him are performing as they should be, then it makes his job easier. And I think we sort of lacked a bit of that in the last game. There was no one there to sort of clear up things and break down the game. So I'm putting him back in. Bramall, putting him back in his natural position. Kadura, again, same thing. And then Walsh and Clark, Walsh further forward with Clark. And then obviously Wells up front. So yeah, obviously drop Lawrence, and the new signing as well, Palmer. Not because he's done anything wrong, but
bring him on, isn't it? It's a game where you bring him on for me.
I mean, maybe you could put him where Saville is, but I think Saville's probably better at that job. I haven't seen enough of Palmer to justify that. I've seen him better going forward and things like that. But yeah, you could bring him on. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I'll be going with. Sort of back to basics as you were. Do you know what I mean? With what I think strongest players we've got out there at the moment. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Saville in that role, that's what he's there to do. He's not here to break the lines and do all that. He's here to be a CDM. And that's what annoys me with the way we're trying to play with him. And then, he gets all this criticism. It's the way we're trying to play with him. He's fucking CDM. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Like, that's where you should have Walsh, like you've gone with, Dad, and Clark doing that more attacking role in that midfield. And I have seen Ben say here, and a lot of people have said this, about putting Kadara more in the middle. The only reason I don't go with that personally is because for me, then you're dropping Clark most likely. And Clark, he's got to play. Do you know what I mean? He's got to play. So that's why I still have Kadara on the right. And I'm sure you're the same on that as well, Dad, in terms of that. And also, that could be good. I wouldn't mind if we play that formation. The only reason I didn't go with it is because we haven't done it for a while. But like you say, Dad, it worked. It worked. And, it also means Walsh can be higher up as well, which I think can benefit him because that is his better game. And then the others, I agree. If we're to go with a lineup like with that formation, I probably would have went with the same players myself, to be honest as well. And again, I know a few people say start Morris, but I just think he's better as an impact player. But that means you've got to have Kadoa on the right, and then obviously when Asaya Jones is eventually back, they should be the three on that side. I don't want to see Asaya Jones as a right back. He's not right back, limiting him to his benefits. Same with when you put other players deeper that are not deeper players. It's so frustrating. So yeah, that's what I will say. Jackie says, I like that lineup, obviously on mine and yours. Would have played Palmer though. Yeah, I just think for this game, put Palmer to the bench and then bring him on personally. If he does start, I wouldn't be too disheartened because I actually think he's a good player. But yeah, I mean, let's see in it. Let's see what happens with that. So yeah, I guess that's more of a question for you, Dad, with your lineup there.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of attacking players anyway. That's the thing.
Morris.
I mean, we could bring, start Lamine, but he's obviously generally been all right, I think. But was it against Swindon? He
Wilshere was disappointed with him,
and he hasn't really got back in since. But I put him in my last lineup, and he didn't start. Yes, he's on the bench, but yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Lamine in, but we got a lot of attacking players anyway, so that subs. You got Palmer to bring on. You got Lawrence,
Morris.
You got Morris to bring on. So yeah, they're the ones I'll be looking at to come on and they've talked about before. It's a squad game. Everyone needs to do that, and that can maybe upset the changing room. We're going, this guy's just come from Man City. He's 20, you know what I mean? And I've been Bramall, like the best player. Not the best player, but do you know what I mean? Like signing wise, we didn't expect that much from him, and he actually, outperforming. Kadua from West Ham, it's different. So, and he's just getting dropped. Savile as well, when defenders have been playing pretty poor at times, things like that. So, yeah, I'd and then striker wise, let's hope Al Hamadi's like on the bench or something.
Yeah, honestly, real talk. And that's the thing. That's another reason I feel we need to get someone on loan because I just don't like. I think they're closer. Obviously, you've seen they're with the team in training, but especially Elijah, it's still going to be like a good few like weeks/months away for me. Or maybe not months, but weeks for me. And yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, we desperately need them back. Like, if we don't have them back before the end of the window and we don't get it, we'll be disappointed because that's what worries us. And this is the only reason we start Wells because he's slightly better than Yates, but it's not drastically better, is it? So yeah, but yeah, I mean, looking at your lineup, Morris for me for maybe Kadoa at one point, or maybe even take Clark off. Bring on Palmer. There's things you can do. You could even put Lamine higher based on yours, Dad. But yeah, the only reason I put him in is because he had a really good game against Huddersfield last time. Like really, especially that second half. Anyway, he was really, really good. He was the reason we went on to win the game for me, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, that's that really when it comes to that. But yeah, like we say, Dad, we're both not feeling confident for this game. Both expecting a loss then, because I am.
Well, I'm expecting a loss, but I think we can't afford to lose the game really, and I think they end up both teams. I mean, they'll be going, but they'd settle for a draw. If we put part of pressure on them and stuff, and I think we probably would stop the rot and to keep us still there because we've got that game in hand. So yeah, I'm sort of leaning towards a 1-1 draw, to be honest.
1-1 draw. As for me, I'm thinking we're going to lose this game. I've got to be honest. I was actually going to say we won't score again away from home, but I will say we will score, but we'll lose 2-1. I think, Huddersfield have a lot of momentum from the other day. New manager bounce, and we're really poor away. And like I've mentioned, they haven't lost at home since the 16th of October, and that was to Bolton in a game which, for me, they probably deserve to lose. So, yeah, for me, I'm going to say we lose this game, unfortunately. And then we go into that Blackpool game needing a win really, but then the gap can get bigger if Huddersfield win. It'll be 6 points then from us, and they'll probably be looking at Stevenage or someone like that. So yeah, it's frustrating. Really, really frustrating. Harry's gone 3-0. I can't blame you, mate. I was going to say 2-0, to be honest, to them. Just can't see much from your side, unfortunately. Alfie May double and Mumba. Yeah, it would be typical, in it. Alfie May is not, for me, he's not really had a great season. In terms of goal scoring, anyway. It just wouldn't be surprised, would it, if he scores a couple? And Mumba, yeah, I mean, a player we said that we would have definitely took at us. And he is actually on the thumbnail for the watch long tomorrow, actually. So, yeah, there you go with that. 3-1 to Luton. Jeez, Paul, I love that optimism. I've got to be honest. Kadoa, Clark, and Palmer. It'd be good if Palmer scored. The other two, it's probably natural to predict them to score, so can't blame you, mate. Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. And like we say, we don't have a specific date on when Elijah and that back, so you can't have confidence up front. And I don't mind if they were affecting the play in terms of, like Wells has in recent games, but then he gets the goal, but then you need to continue that. And the last game, he was just dreadful, and they're not consistent. Yeah, well, Yates is consistently shit, but yeah, that's not the point. So yeah, 2-1. Ben's gone with to us. That was the score the last time we went, and that was actually revenge at the time. But that's the thing, like stuff like that. It's written for them to now get revenge on us after beating them last time out. So I was going to go 3-2, then change to a 2-1. Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, your goal scorer for us, Dad?
Clark.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. He didn't actually play last time against Huddersfield. But one thing Caden did say yesterday, and he did ask me last time when we played him, he asked if Wells was playing, and I said no, because he wasn't last time. Obviously, he's expected to play now. Apparently, you score against Huddersfield all the flipping time. So hopefully, he can actually step up and do that for us. But will he? Probably not. It's probably going to be Kadoa or Clark. So I'm going to say either of the two to get the goal for us. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see who scores for them, because obviously the player that did score last time left. Obviously, scored a really good free kick. So yeah, we shall see. But any final things, Dad, you want to say before we wrap up?
No, just sort of get this game out of the way. Hopefully, we do get a good performance, and then these home games against the so-called lesser teams, we've got to be definitely winning all of them for me. And then which I don't know, man. And also, how long's left of the window now? You're talking about 10 days last week or whenever it was. There's still 10 days. No, I don't think there is now. What was there? 4, 5, maybe? Still nothing. So what we're going to do is sign 3 players at once. It's getting a bit frustrating. Where other teams are doing business, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. I've just had a double check. So it finishes on Monday, the 2nd February.
A week today.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing. Like, I think for me, looking at how the recent games are, I think the main 2 things we need. Obviously, there's probably others which people think, but if you said to me, we can get 2 more players, what positions? I'm saying a striker on loan, and I'm saying a right back. I think that's the 2, because I think the thing with Palmer is he can play as a CDM as well, like in terms of more defensive as well as attacking. Obviously, attacking his main game, and obviously out wide. But that's why I don't look as much there. But yeah, maybe that's another option. I wouldn't be surprised if people say that. But yeah, I mean, and there's still outgoings that I think need to happen. I mean, Jacob Brown for me needs to go. He hasn't been in the squads recently. Not that I want him to go, but the Makoso thing just needs to get done now, because it's just so annoying seeing him on the bench and just knowing he's not going to come on unless there's some injuries. So they're the 2 that need to happen for me. So yeah, and then there's obviously others, but in terms of ones that are more likely, even though he's not in the squad nowadays, and he shouldn't be because he's not good enough, and I think Wilshere basically said that indirectly. Tom Holmes, I mean, I don't know what we can do with him. I've heard we can't even loan him back out. So it's just one of them. Like, there's so many players just scattering around, and it's just like, just go away. Respectfully, just go away. You know, it's so frustrating. So yeah, it's one of them. I mean, I'm a bit mixed on this because we have obviously managed to attract championship players. You know, obviously we've done that with Palmer. We have done it with Saville. But yeah, I hear what you're saying at the same time. But this is what I'm saying. Like, as for a striker, right? At this rate, I'm just like looking at it and thinking, let's try and get someone with that's young, but like got experience in the EFL. There's loads. You know, there's loads nowadays. You know, whether that's the Championship or League One. You know, there is players there. You know, we need to do that. If I don't see Elijah El Hamady, like I've said, in the squad coming up, you know, before the end of the window, I'm going to be frustrated because you've waited on them. You could have got someone else, and who's to say they're going to come back firing? That's my problem. You know, there's nothing to base it on the fact that they will. You know, other than the strikers we have right now are not great, but you know, flipping anyone with a bit of passion could come in and probably look better than flipping Wells and Yates. It's not hard. You know what I mean? So yeah, Jackie says definitely a striker. Yeah, exactly. And I can understand we don't want to get one permanently. I can totally understand that because we got so many, and we will eventually have him back. But that's what I'm saying on loan. But yeah, I mean it's one of them. But yeah, obviously, as for the game tomorrow, we will have a watch along. So yeah, do tune into that. Obviously, if you're not going, if you are going, do try and enjoy it, but can't guarantee you will, to be quite honest with you. And then obviously I have the match reaction as well, so do check that out. And then Thursday, we've got a preview with Lee Charles, obviously been on the channel a few times for the Blackpool game, so we'll get his thoughts. Then obviously we have the Hat Show on Friday, our thoughts. Obviously we'll talk on the Huddersfield game as well. It's probably not going to be positive, let's be honest. And then, yeah, I will be at the Blackpool game on Saturday. So hopefully we can win that game, but yeah, we'll see how tomorrow goes first. So yeah, obviously there'll be a reaction from myself, fan cams, and all of that stuff. So if you are going, you do want to come on the channel, then please do. And then, yeah, the vlog, I'll probably release that on Sunday at some point. So, yeah, that is the content that is coming out for sure. So, yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in. Last load of comments before we end this. Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest. I was a bit sceptical when he was at Northampton. I think he's gone somewhere else anyway. I expected him to do a bit better at Northampton. He didn't. I'm pretty sure he went somewhere else. I know Northampton are not great, but still, yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, let's give Palmer more of a chance, man. That's how I see it. But yeah, Ben says, great live as always, lads. See you on the watch on tomorrow. Take care. Yeah, big up to yourself, mate. Big up to everyone else that's tuned in as well. Smash a like, subscribe, follow me across all my socials. And yeah, all of that. And we will both see you guys tomorrow. So yeah, until then, take care and peace.